Hey sports fans, Haroon Rashid, and welcome to Haroon's Hangout, the internationally featured show on marketing innovation. Today, we've got a fantastic show for you because we've got a very, very special guest. And me and the guys are so excited because we're such huge fans of this particular person. We are doing body language tips for video marketing, and we are joined by the one and the only Vanessa Van Edwards. How's it going, Vanessa?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. So if you don't know who Vanessa is, you need to sort your face out and sort your life out because she's a published author and a behavioral investigator. Her groundbreaking workshops and courses teach individuals how to succeed in business and life by understanding the hidden dynamics of people. Now, Vanessa is a Huffington Post columnist and Penguin author, but dig this, she's been featured on NPR, The Wall Street Journal, The Today Show, and USA Today. And she's also written for CNN, Fast Company, and Forbes. So, you know, she dabbles a little bit, I guess you could say. So, but we're really excited to have you on the show to talk about body language tips for video marketing. But I just wanted to say at the top of the show, I mean, I love lots of blogs to do with neuroscience, psychology, et cetera, et cetera. But what I've noticed about yourselves at Science of People is that you're very heavy with video marketing. Could you tell us a little bit about why you chose to go down the video marketing route?
Yeah, I love video. It actually, I think, saved my business in a lot of ways because in the beginning, I was trying to explain pretty simple concepts that became really complicated with words. So I would be writing articles or writing books, writing ebooks on body language. And it's so much harder to explain body language with words than it is to just show a video or picture. So for example, I'd be talking about the sadness face, right? And so sadness is when you, with words, you pinch your eyebrows together, you pull the corners of your mouth down, you puff out your lower lip, and your eyes begin to water. That sounds okay verbally, but if I could just show you, it looks like this.
Much better, yeah.
Much faster, much more interesting. And so video just added a dynamic to my business that I never would have been able to have. And it really, I think, supercharged everything.
And at the time of this video, you're rapidly approaching like 30,000 subscribers. I think you're just under 28,000 at the moment. So it must be working. And what have you found has been the best videos? What have been the best types of videos for you whilst you've been amassing this great YouTube subscribers list?
Yeah, we do. This is terrible. I know. We do absolutely nothing to market our videos. I feel like really bad about that. I joke that we accidentally sell some things sometimes. We accidentally get subscribers occasionally. And so it's all happens completely accidentally. The numbers, the subscriber numbers, that I didn't even know that was my number. So that's great. That was cool news. I think that the biggest thing is that we typically tag and code our videos based on what we think someone's going to be searching in YouTube. So I treat YouTube like Google, where I think to myself, what kind of thing is, I think that a lot of our users do use YouTube as Google. Instead of going to Google and typing in a phrase, they go into YouTube and look for it. So we treat our videos like that. I script videos, I craft videos, everything about them based on search results as opposed to blog results, which is a little bit different. I make the blog fit the video as opposed to the video fit the blog. And I think that also we try really hard to work on our related videos. So we're pretty careful about what videos we watch after we watch our own. So we try to encourage the chain of watching. You know, if someone comes onto YouTube and they're watching a video on ambiversion. Ambiversion is sort of the middle ground between extrovert and introvert. I'm an ambivert. Sometimes I really like to hermit in my alone time. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, party. It depends on what mood I'm in. And so we have a video on ambiversion. And we wanted to link that to videos on other videos in ambiversion, but also other videos on introversion for people who are like, am I an introvert? Am I an extrovert? And so we made sure we set up a chain reaction where all those videos were also sort of in the algorithm for our videos and their videos. So we try to tie them through related videos as well.
And it must also help to have the corny science jokes in there as well, which I love personally.
Always. So one thing that we do is something called Easter eggs. And those are when we hide videos on our website. And the reason for that is because, well, I'm just corny. So I like corny jokes, but also I'm high open, which is one of the 5 personality traits. And that means that I love like curiosity and rewarding imagination and getting people to do what I call adventure clicks, where they're like, I don't know where this is going to take me, but I'm just going to go down the road and see what happens. And so we hide these videos on our website and they're jokes and they're like horrible. I'm sure you've seen them. They're like horrible knock jokes, but we get people a couple hundred views, a couple thousand views on some of them. We just started putting them up and people love it. They love getting rewarded with the video. We have videos of puppies too. So
I have to say, I love the jokes. I love corny jokes, and but you know, that's just me. So.
Well, no wonder I knew we'd get along well. Another corny joke lover.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds like you know what engages your audience, and it's a nice segue into the next section, which is we wanted to do some stuff about the body language stuff. Now, where we are, a lot of our clients, we do advocate video marketing because, as you say, there's a human connection and everything like that. But what we find, and I don't know if you find this as well, Vanessa, is that people, they're very afraid of the camera, and they can often come across as low in confidence, or sometimes even insincere, or their facial expressions give off a different sort of emotion than what they're intending. Is there some kind of quick fire body language tips that you can give the audience for if they're wanting to start venturing into video marketing, or if they're low in confidence or things like that?
Sure. So there's so many tips. I'll start with some of the things to watch out for, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you can do to sort of supercharge the video. So first is go back to your videos that you maybe practice with or are thinking about making, or record a couple practice videos. And you want to watch out for a couple of things. First, you want to watch out for how much space your body is taking up in the video. So if you're rolling your shoulders in and you're tucking your chin down, almost in like a bowed position, so you're taking up a lot less space, that actually signifies to the viewer that you are low confidence, low competence. So make sure that you actually, I'm standing right now. I'm actually at a standing recording studio. So I'm standing because I have my feet firmly planted, and I like to keep my shoulders down and back, my chest, my chin, my forehead aimed up. That really is a small little cue, that little fix. It's like a golf swing, right? Little tiny things have a huge impact. So watch out for how much space you're taking up. And the second thing is fear can often come across in your facial expressions. So there's a universal facial expression for fear that was discovered by Dr. Paul Ekman. And fear is when we raise our eyebrows up our forehead, we widen our eyelids so that the whites of our eyes are seen. And typically we take in a deep breath. On video, this is even more subtle. You'll see people who've forgotten their lines, or maybe they're reading a teleprompter and it's going too fast for them, or they're just nervous, where they'll actually be recording the video like this. So their eyes are flickered up, almost like a deer in the headlights. That also indicates to someone that you are nervous about what you're saying, which maybe you're nervous about what you're saying, but you believe in your verbal. So you want to make sure that you look back and eradicate that. And the easiest way to do that is actually by standing in that powerful pose that I mentioned earlier. Your body begins to pump testosterone. Both men and women, they pump testosterone, which actually makes them calm down. It lowers your heart rate, helps you think more clearly, helps you speak more clearly. And so just by expanding your body like that, you can actually produce the hormone you need to calm everything down.
Fantastic. I'm just making sure I'm taking up a bit more space now and everything. And
we can do this if you want. This is like the ultimate power pose. You can do the pride pose if you want.
That's really stretch my arms out like that. Okay.
Yeah. That's super testosterone producing. So you could always try that too.
Awesome. So you mentioned a micro expression. Just for the audience who may not be familiar with that or Dr. Ekman's work, could you just please explain to us what a micro expression is?
Definitely. So a micro expression is a universal facial gesture that everyone makes across cultures and races and genders when they feel an intense emotion. And Dr. Paul Ekman, and this was pretty groundbreaking research. We used to think that a baby was born, looked at its mother or father's face, and mirrored or mimicked the facial expression. But what Dr. Paul Ekman discovered is that actually our micro expressions are coded. there's genetic reasons behind why we make certain facial expressions. So congenitally blind children who have been blind since birth, make the exact same facial expressions at the exact same time as seeing babies. So they're not mirroring or mimicking. They're actually getting these expressions from somewhere else. And that helps us study them. So Dr. Paul Ekman has discovered that there are 7 universal facial expressions. I would say in video, 5 of them are probably more negative: contempt, anger, disgust, sadness, and fear. And 2 of them are very positive for video: surprise and happiness. And so you want to make sure, and we have all of them up on our website. You can watch the videos of I make them in the videos at sciencepeople.com/face. You can check to see what facial expressions you're using. So kind of cool.
Excellent. So for the viewers who may not be familiar with the show, we're going to put all of these links in the show notes. So do go make sure that you go and check all those out. And we'll be linking to Vanessa's, blog and YouTube channel, all that really great stuff. I just watch it for hours. It's brilliant. It's really good. Okay. So for people who may be a little bit more insecure, a bit low in confidence, you've already mentioned about like the power pose and things like that. What kind of things could they be doing with their faces? Because people can try and smile, but it comes across as a bit creepy or maybe insincere. Is there any kind of facial expressions that can help with people coming across as more confident?
Yeah. So, there's this idea that we have a resting face. And some people joke that people have like resting angry face or resting confused face, or that is a way that our face at rest looks. Like I, for example, kind of look mean when I'm at rest, which is terrible. When I have a neutral face, for example, here's my neutral face. It's not very pleasant. Are you ready? Okay. Here's my neutral face. So what happens at my face at rest is actually my mouth slightly turns down and my lids actually lower quite a bit. And so I am very aware of that in video. In fact, I have certain videos that I've recorded where I'm in deep concentration. I'm explaining something, but because my face is at rest and my lids are a little low and my mouth is at rest, I actually look sad. So what I've learned to do and what you can practice doing is actually engaging your face. I call it up face. So basically when you slightly engage the muscles in the sides of your mouth and you just slightly engage your eyes, it actually just makes you look more awake. And you can practice this off camera so it becomes more natural to you. So when I'm on camera, I just keep my muscles just slightly engaged, and that helps me look more awake. So it's a really small, subtle thing, but you'll notice if you record 2 videos of yourself, one with your face at rest, see what area of your face you need to just slightly activate. It could also be even relaxing this part of your face. For example, sometimes people they concentrate like this. So these 2 vertical lines appear between their eyebrows. That is a partial anger microexpression. It's not a complete anger microexpression. But what happens when you have that is you can come across as sort of irritated, a little bit sort of pessimistic. And so that might be for you, your up face might be just slightly relaxing this part of your face. And I will make a note here. It is never worth Botox. It's never worth it. Botox, they've found that when people have Botox different areas of their face, they actually feel emotions less strongly. So it changes your entire emotional feedback loop. So keep your face at rest, keep your face up, but don't numb it, please.
Wow. So people who get Botox, it's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I had no idea.
And it's crazy. So all these women who have Botox their happiness wrinkles. So our happiness wrinkles are crow's feet. So you see those side muscles over here? Yeah, that's crow's feet. And women who have Botox those or who have numbed those actually report feeling less happy for as long as their muscles are numb, which is terrifying. So just be very aware. We love your wrinkles. I love your wrinkles. I want to see all of them. It makes you human. So in fact, I want to map people's wrinkles. I love looking at people's facial maps. So don't get rid of them. Just engage them.
So is that right in saying that a genuine smile, you're going to see the crow's feet? Is that right?
Yeah. So it's when, like, if for a real smile, anyone can fake smile, right? Anyone can put up a fake smile. And we know instinctively, right, I look horrible. Like, that kind of, yeah, I'm so happy for you. right? And you know that it's not real. The only time your smile is real is when these side muscles are activated, and only 1 in 10 people can consciously activate them. So that means that when you see a real smile, you almost always know it's real. Now, if you want to feel what that's like, you can take a pencil and you can put it between your teeth, and you can try to spread your lips as wide as possible. That will actually engage those muscles. So like that. That's how you can feel if your muscles are engaged or not. That's a genuine smile.
People all over the world, after watching this show, will be grabbing pencils and just trying that out. I'm sure I'll be doing it. So
it's a fun game. And also they found that when people do that, when they have the pencil between their teeth and they rate comics, they always rate the comics as funnier when they have a pencil between their teeth. And that is because it's a feedback loop. So when I'm in a genuine smile, right, I'm all the way up, my brain goes, I'm happy. And so when you're looking at comics, you actually rate them as funnier than when you just have your face at rest. So there's a nice feedback loop that happens there when you use that genuine smile. So if you want a little boost, you could just do that and you'll feel happier.
that is fantastic. And you've alluded to it there. You guys do a lot of great research over there at Science of People. And one of my favorite blog posts that you've done is, I think you did like a thing about the most successful TED Talks. Mm-hmm. And that was a great piece. And again, we're going to link to that in the show notes. And but you gave a lot of great insight into why certain people had more views. People like Simon Sinek, loved that. It was a great video. People who were smiling more and doing things like that. For people who may want to be more engaging with their audience, what are some of the top things that they should include in a video if they're doing like, video tips and things like that you do? Is there any things that are the things that you would say you would definitely need to try and consider having in the video?
Sure. So TED Talks are a wonderful way for us to learn about body language. So I'm a TED Talk junkie. I watch TED Talks every day at lunch. I love them. And I was in the TED Talk website one day and I was searching for a talk to watch, and I wanted to watch something on leadership. So I was like searching leadership, and I saw 2 talks came up. One was Simon Sinek's, another one was another leadership talk with a very similar name, like almost the same name. And they both came out the same month and the same year. I think it was September 2009. And I looked at these 2 talks and I'm like, they look almost the same. They're both respected authors. They weren't famous before their TED Talks came out, but one had over 25 million views and one had under 40,000. And I thought to myself, why? Why is it that some videos go viral and some get almost no views for the TED span? And so we decided to do a research experiment on it where we had our researchers code thousands of hours of TED Talks, and then we had over 1,000 people rate those talks on charisma, credibility, and intelligence. We were looking for nonverbal patterns. What were the patterns that made them different? And we found very specific things that can help us when we do our videos. So 2 of the things we've actually already mentioned, smiling, as well as hand gestures. So I've been using hand gestures, but I didn't really talk about it just yet. So one very clear pattern that we found was that the more your hands are visible and the more expressive they are in your talks, the more charismatic and intelligent you come across. So the top TED Talks, the most popular TED Talks, have an average of over 400 hand gestures, whereas the bottom TED Talks have half that, around 200 hand gestures. That's a huge difference. I mean, almost double. And that means that our hands are actually a huge aspect of our charisma. And so when you're doing video, I highly recommend to try to actually have your hands visible. A lot of people make the mistake of having the video really close to their face, so they only show just their head. I actually try to push the camera back so that you can see the top of my hands. And you'll notice in a lot of my YouTube videos, I actually have my entire torso showing in my studio. And that is because I want my hand gestures to add to my charisma.
Excellent. So you recommended about like a mid shot sort of thing, just down to the torso.
If you can do belt to head, I would do it. But as long as your hand gestures are comfortably in the frame, sometimes that's what you really want, because even just having them visible helps the other person's brain pay attention to you. It's an attention cue. Fascinating.
So hand gestures is a definite. What else did you find in the study with the TED Talks? What else would you recommend that people would have in their videos?
So the other thing, which is not quite body language, it's more nonverbal. So when we talk about nonverbal behavior, we're talking about facial expressions, body language, and voice tone. So voice tone was a huge aspect of the TED Talker's success. There was sort of what we call vocal variety, that the best TED Talkers, they varied their volume, their pace, and their emotionality tremendously. So like Jamie Oliver, for example, he practically yells at the audience. You know, he gets so passionate that he's like, this is ridiculous. Why do we have such bad food in schools? And he's like this with his hands, and he's yelling at you. So I'm not saying you should yell at people in your videos, although it could work. But I am saying that it's really important to add vocal variety. So if you're using a teleprompter, for example, teleprompters and scripts can kill your vocal variety. They don't always. Sometimes I use teleprompters in my videos as well, but I had to practice adding emotionality. And I actually have emotionality cues in my teleprompter scripts to be able to vary up my volume and my pace. So it's as simple as I'm explaining something now, and then all of a sudden I get to a really important point. I slow down my pace, I lower my volume, and I deliver it like I am sharing the biggest secret in the world, right? So even just that kind of vocal variety and charisma, that's how you really level up your videos.
That's excellent. That is so cool. A personal opinion of yours, Vanessa. Obviously, some people are born with charisma. They're natural, naturally charismatic people. Do you think charisma can be almost learned, and people can become more charismatic by using some of these tips? Do you think?
100%. I am a recovering awkward person, so I had zero charisma. I mean, I have some now, but that's learned. But I had absolutely zero growing up. And so I had to learn everything, how to interact with people, how to have eye contact, how to communicate more authentically, more genuinely. I personally believe that charisma is about authenticity, and you cannot differentiate the two. I think the people who try to learn charisma in terms of gimmicks and tricks, that actually comes across as really fake and posed. So I think that charisma can absolutely be learned if, and this is the big if you are truly, truly excited about what you're talking about. So if you're talking about something that you're not really jazzed about, it's very, very hard to have any kind of charisma, because you're just not naturally into it very much. And I've made this mistake before. I've tried to record videos about topics that like take it or leave it. I wasn't that interested in it, but I thought, oh, this will make a good video, or it was, kind of cool science. But like, I just come across as flat and dead and boring in those videos, because I am not truly engaged with the topic. So now I only record videos that I really love the topic, that I just, my litmus test with my team. So we have a small team at the Science People. I say, I will only record a video if I'm like dying to share this information with someone. So if I read something, or I have a story that I'm like, I really want to tell this to someone, that's a good video. But if I'm not dying to share it, then it doesn't get put into a video.
Brilliant. And we're going to get you out on this. We have a thing called the Cameo Workout. So what is the one thing that you would like the audience to do after watching this video?
I would really like you to turn on your video and record yourself during your next phone conversation. So this is just a video for you. You don't have to put it anywhere. But during your next phone conversation, ideally a business conversation, because they tend to be a little bit more professional, record yourself. Don't look at it, right? While you're talking on the phone, just let it record. Afterwards, look at your facial expressions and compare them with our 7 facial expressions. Are you showing contempt? Are you showing anger? Are you showing fear? What does your voice sound like? What is your resting face like? What kind of space are you taking up with your body? Do you naturally use hand gestures? We often don't realize how we look when we're naturally talking, and you want your videos to be as close to natural as possible, right? You don't want to have the most perfectly poised and scripted video. And then in person, you have a different kind of charisma. And so you want to try to match them. And I know it's really hard to watch yourself on video, especially not scripted or planned, but I think that's a really good starting point to see where you fall naturally and then optimize it.
That is excellent. Well, Vanessa, I think we're running out of time, but we just wanted to say to everyone who's watching, please, please, please go check out the show notes and check out scienceofpeople.com and all the stuff on YouTube. There is just hours worth of awesome stuff that's going to help you rock your video marketing. But Vanessa, we just want to say thank you very much from the UK. We're really big fans. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello from Portland, Oregon.
Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care, sports fans.